situation where they can handle us. Our unity, strength is power. Umlungu one day mela zocela umsebenzi la elokishini. That's how things should be. They are almost not. They are less than 7 million. Tina, we are over 40 something million. But manje siyagula. Abantu all over the continent. That's what they are saying. Ukuthi but kwenzakalani ngabo abantu abamnyama base South Africa. Baguliswa yini le bagulisa kangaka? How can they own the land? But you know, economically, they are worse off. Kanjani? Angisakhulumeli ukuthi umhlaba lo okumele siwuthole of which ngale ndlela yepolitics ngesiwuthole. The only way for us to get umhlaba wethu back, we need to destroy this Republic of South Africa. That's the only way. And not recklessly, by building a parallel system, so that when it's stronger, this one dies naturally. Awulwi namuntu. That is what you know should actually happen. So yinto es eqhubekisa, it perpetuates our slavery. Amakhosi ayasaba now. They have been co-opted. That is why it's not defense system. Ipolitiki ngapha, amakhosi ngapha. Sisodwa. What are we supposed to do? Mina ngithi, ubukhosi, remember ubukhosi, inkosi represent umvelinqangi emhlabeni. And umoya kamvelinqangi ungawela to anybody. Siyobona ngezenzo zakho. Kuthi nangu umuntu okumele simlandele ngezenzo zakhe. Ubukhosi baqala njalo. Hey, mele bubuyele back because structure isikhona hayi. I have no hope. These are people who don't qualify to move Africa forward. Okokuqala, not good is a bad thing to those who are still Christians. But almost 80 or 90% yamakhosi are Christian. Ufaka njani uJesu esigodlweni? Thina sibheke wena njengenkosi sithi bayethe kuwe. Wena ushaya indesheni lapha emlungwini. It doesn't make sense leyo nto leyo. It doesn't make sense. It means now we are now corrupted. We are part of a system. We poison kithi. Awusinikeza imfundiso right. You are not rooting us in our greatness. You've compromised yourself. You do that. Make it worse. Let yamandi azoshisa impepho. Esigodlweni impepho yakho. Impepho yamandi yamanje seyishiswe esigodlweni. Manje ke makhehla yikho ngithi mina singabi frustrated. Thina sibheke abantu nezenzo zabo. Ubuholi bakusasa kuyoba njalo. Siyobona ukuthi indoda uhamba njani. Yini leyo yenzayo ekhombisa ukuthi wena uyinkosi. Remember ukuthi inkosi inikezwa ikusasa namhlanje. And even indlela ukuthi kuyiwa kanjani lapho. So into esiyibhekile ebantwini. This is how ubukhosi started. So we shouldn't feel ukuthi njengoba there is this problem even in our royal structures, then there can't be freedom for ourselves. Tina, we are conscious. Lento esiyenzayo kumele ngabe iphushwa amakhosi themselves. Ngoba knowledge yabo. Ubukhosi civilized the world. Amakhosi who created pyramids, who created stone calendars, who created all these things. It was that royal structure. But manje lamakhosi who are ignorant of that, they can't be ready to rule us into the future as African people. Kumele babonakalise ngezenzo ukuthi they deserve to sit on those thrones. Otherwise bahleli nje ngegama. But we are not benefiting anything. Siyaxhashazwa kune racism. Umhlaba phela wathathwa kubo. They should be in the forefront of getting this land. Destroying the Republic of South Africa that holds their land. But bona they decided ukuthi no, sizophaphata siloko si receiver kulaba subjects abo. ingane manje iyobhadala inkosi emhlabeni wayo iprime phela i-subject yenkosi but ibhadala inkosi is comfortable with that kanjani. How are you comfortable with that? Because when you've got to fight till the end and uze ubheje ngempilo yakho because kunjalo. If you know and you're conscious ukuthi there's no death but renewal, so why fear? Why usaba ukufa? Hey, when you die it means ukuthi your spirit reconstructs another form because your spirit never dies. And I cannot ukuthi mina sacrifice ukuthi no, as long as mina nomndeni wami sishaba, the rest of the people they can see for themselves. Abukho ubuholi la. Inkosi yiyo kumele ihlale emkhukwini until everybody is sorted, then simakhele imenship. Why? Because usisacrificele, usivikele, usenzele everything that is positive. Siyambonga. Simakhele imenship. Hayi ukuthi manje wena mawuhlala esitulweni so ufuna ama mention ukuthi you are surrounded by poverty. There's no leadership there. No leadership. Hey. So unity makhehla, unity outside politics. That's the future of Africa. As long as sisabheke ukuthi sizoqhubekisa le system, you know, your politics, nathi by default, we are guilty as charged. We are guilty as charged. Hey, by default. And into engimangazayo ukuthi uma thina ke sifika njengoba I always make an example of Credo. Ubab Credo uhambe la emhlabeni asi was it a castle? Usiqalekisile wathi South Africa can go to hell for all I care. Why? Because ulokhu ekhuluma nezingane nabazukulu abezwa. Ngoba umlungu uthe. Ngoba umlungu uthe, because there's no reason why they couldn't see value in what Ubab Credo was saying. Ubab Credo was giving us a sacred sides of very scientific, you know, knowledge. Huh? Ama sides, Ubab Credo at hey man, you know, lapha eMpumalanga, lapha eNzalelanga. This is where our ancestors used to communicate to people who reside, you know, lapha eNgulube, the Orion belt, those 3 stars of the Orion. Uti, there's a race that you know, emanated from there to here, and that was a communication port. That is how we communicated with them. Oh, Koko, you know, by Shile knowledge, all we had to do is to look at that side deeper, and it is fundile these days. But we can't decode the importance of such sites. Why? Because that knowledge, ayiko in the Western, you know, institutions. Lama University as a West. That's why Lama sites they are still like this. Evaluate. And do you know Guti, the first pyramids are there as well? In Mpumalanga. They are older than those in Giza. And when they talk Okokobetu Bati, that was like a ESCOM. They generated electricity drawn from the sun, which then fed everybody. But we can't go there. Why? Because Abandabangabo Edison, who was an investor in Tesla's company, he fired to Tesla because Tesla wanted to give free electricity to people. So Umlongo, we rejected Leon. Nathi as African people, as is touch lezo zinto because sisaba ukuthi sizobe sihlukumeza umlungu. Imagine ukuthi ngabe sikuphi scientifically. Ngabe besihamba ngecontent yethu. I-content yethu ingane zifunda ama-elements. Like Professor Oyibo from Nigeria, who proved that there's only one element in the universe, which is hydrogen. Because when you look at lithium, it's 3 portions of hydrogen. When you look at carbon, it's 6 portions of hydrogen. When you look at this and that, it's, you know, it's all about hydrogen. Swisso, check. Huh? Okay. So, knowledge le abantwana mele bayiconsume at a very early age. Ikona. We have content. We don't need Western philosophy. Western philosophy is limited, remember, I always say this. They only study everything that has manifested. Their causal plane, they're not interested but in mambo jambo. And this is where our ancestors mastered the causal plane, because mengazi, I have an advantage when I know the principle that has created this flower. Once I understand that, I have a full knowledge of that. So Umlungu only studies the flower that has manifested. Imimoya lebati mambo jambo. So that's why even their education system is limited. Okokobako, through the Shabaka, things like Abu Shabaka stone, they gave you the whole picture. Even the concept Eyashulabo Newton Nabo Einstein, where these 4 energies collapse into. Okokobe too, you know, calculated that long ago. It's written in the Shabaka stone. Professor Oyibo was able to actually solve that mathematical problem through studying the Shabaka stone. He says it himself. What gave him the code to decode the Yongele mystery was studying the Shabaka stone. So manje, if our leaders still believe ukuthi knowledge yethu is backwards, that is why we need to generate a new breed of leadership that is going to be proud and be conscious of who they are. Ne content yabo. Ngoba i-content yako is much more superior than this inferior education oyithola belungu. Hey. Mawuphethe le content le yase Kemet, African general. Ungabeka ama-professor ayi-12 la. Beze with this Western philosophy. But when uzobashaya bonke uyiwa. Hey. Ngoba angithi Western education system divide izinto most of the time. It's like maybe thola ikhambi la something. Tina umgano, I'll make an example umuthi umgano or isihlahla somyezana. Let's just create a panel. So what they do bona ne bathatha this element active kule sihlahla baseparate nje yona, and yet thina mesiphuza imbiza yale sihlahla ilapha yonke into besides the headache, ilapha headache, but every other thing that is wrong, whatever element ezilapha kulo muthi ziyasista kanjalo. So abelungu ba divide izinto bahlukanise all the time. Hey. So it's in the nature to divide. Yingakho nje ba maintain a division. I-rule yabo was maintained by a division. Wherever they go, they divided people. That's how they roll. Any break makasha ngizwe ukuthi nina nithini. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions?
Mina Mkhulu bengifuna ukwazi on Ampu that they say that but he created himself through the power of language. Djehuti.
Not Ampu.
No, not Ampu Djehuti.
Hey, Aniti, it's that those waveforms right in the beginning, in what we call Kuluan, which is the waters of abyss, this substance that was there before the emergence of the atom. So that creation happened through a vibration. So it's those sound waves, that created, Djehuti. Djehuti is that principle of communication. Communication in terms of the pattern of creation. Yingakho kuthiwa is self-created himself, because he's the originator of these, patterns through the sound waves, Sure. Hey.
Bengibuza ukuthi uma ngabe nje ukuthi isikhathi se-communication kusho ukuthi la siphuma khona umfundisikazi angithi usaqhuma mhlawumbe lamaplano lama-ideas aweza ngesikhathi saka-Mvuseleni. Manje isikhathi soku-communicate mhlawumbe uhlanganise amadini, uhlanganise all of those components that you might need for whatever you want to put into place. Kunjalo na.
Nokunjalo kehla ngoba ngoSeptember you get new ideas. Ngo-October those ideas like they germinate, ziyaqhuma, right? Ukuqhuma kwazo ukuthi wena manje so zifake into a document form, right? Manje ngesikhathi kaJehuti you are ready to make presentations, to people about this very same plan, or idea oyithole ngoSeptember. So ihamba kanjalo in terms of following the natural flow of energy to assist you in your endeavors almost all the time.
Mkhulu, this is the third month of the year. So I was having a conversation and about African calendar with some friends. So what year is it? In the African in the African side. So you alone what year is it?
Okay. No, lokho wena cash. Yinto okusamele yingakho sithe calendar yethu it's work in progress. I-adjustment isazoyenzakala. So in terms of the year, what we did, we started lapha eMpumalanga, the oldest stone calendar, which they estimate based on erosion of those stones that created that calendar, gave them a guide or an idea about how old the structure is, about 70,000 years old. So when you do a calculation, do the calculation from that 70,000 and now, you then get the difference. Because that is the oldest calendar, it's older than the same calendar which is in Egypt. So the Zeptepi, our Zeptepi, the beginning is here in Mpumalanga. As you know, Guti, civilization started on the southern hemisphere, based on those, mathematical instruments, mathematical and scientific instruments, and the structures that are all over there. Hey, Kesh.
Calculation instead of 2020, something like 2021, 2015.
Mawenza leyo calculation Kesha, I'm sure izokunikeza that number.
Ngoba bona angithi khona enye engayizo le mayikhona le move le matrix khona phesho khona mawufiyazi ukuthi ama dates change ukuthi you confused singesazi ukuthi senzani uyasho lapho mhlambe thina sicala ukuthi manje 2020 or years 1990 futhi manje ka 1990 kahle kahle actually the year manje is 60 something mangawubheka yena according to estimation and mangalandelela movie vele most esotholile.
No, sure.
Manje mamela makatshela uniyo lapho ukuthi the dates have been changed, this is 1999. No, kahle kahle si somewhere but no one is sure.
Sure. Sure. No, kunjalo. And thina ke i-calculation yethu as African people, Koko, they use certain stars like the star series, rotation corner around, or us rotating around, Tologuti, but there's a concept they call the greatempireofkemet. meaning ukuthi that star takes about 2000 and something to come to the same point again. So that is how okhokho bethu calculated. But now njengoba ngisho ukuthi uzothola ukuthi the Ethiopian calendar le eyange-11 zika September, it was a political decision that was taken when that calendar was created, based on mhlambe inkosi beyilapho yadeclare ukuthi kuso fana even the Gregorian calendar, it's a political decision, you know, to decide which, you know, 25, you know, will be or first January will be the new year. It has no correlation with nature, you know, it's a thumb sucker thing. So yingakho ke kumele senze even more studies in terms of realigning our calendar, because enye into calendar yethu was based on the star formation they call the decans, meaning ukuthi it's a group of 10. It's along the ecliptic, meaning ukuthi the first group of stars, they take 10 days before ilanga lishifta, you know, into another group, meaning ukuthi that formed a 10-day week in the African calendar. And the amalanga, they were not 7, they were 10. Meaning ukuthi after every 10 days, when you look at the horizon in the evening, ubona ukuthi there's certain group of stars that have changed. So kungene ezinye. After 10 days, ezinye kanje, there are 36 until they complete the year to form 360 days. Sure. Tell us.
Maybe in your own definition, spiritual intelligence.
Spiritual intelligence is your ability to be able to decode spiritual messages, right? Yingakho bokuthiwa angeke ube inkosi ungathwasanga, because mele you must be enlightened about these spiritual concepts. Ukuthi, you know, as an example, mawuvuka uphuphe inyoka, ungaboyisabi inyoka ngoba inyoka yilento nalento. So you need to possess all that knowledge. Oh, kungene igundwane la endlini, this is what it means. Kwenzakala lokhu la endlini, this is what it means. So you had to be initiated into this spiritual, and then nakhona okhokho initiating amakhosi so that they understand the laws that govern the universe. Ngoba mawuyinkosi kuthiwa umlomo ongaqambi imanga. So into oyikhulumayo mele yenzakale. So the only way their thing can actually manifest ukuthi wena, you need to be conscious, you know, of this. You need to have that spiritual intelligence so that you understand the laws that govern the universe, so that wazi kahle ukuthi mawuhleli lapha esitulweni umbuso wakho is supported by lo moya. You understand, okay? And just understanding the concept, like okokuqala, you need to understand the difference between Islam, you know, Judaism, Christianity, and bese kubuka ke the mother of all, the African philosophy. You need to understand all those things so that you make an informed decision. No, like what I did, you know, I studied all these, but ultimately I then discovered they are all from this book, which is called the Book of Coming Forth. Abelungu bayibiza the Book of the Dead because it was found in coffins. Hey, but it's the Book of Coming Forth. So you need to understand ukuthi Bible, Christianity, you know, Judaism, Islam, they took from that book. As an African person, why? Because when you were a parent, you initiated these things. You first wrote them. Then Togututaki never wrote. It's a lie. Hey, Egyptian symbols and you know, the symbols from Abattoir, they are all over the caves. That was communication. They were communicating Abattoir. And the Abattoir, our parents, they gave birth to us, Abattoir. We are all from there, yes. Even as Egypt, you know, they had a principle. They are called Bes. Ubes idlozi labathwa, meaning that they paid homage to abathwa as our parents. Sure.
Just going off that question, actually, kulemfunda le applied black roots science.
Yes.
I'm sure you understand it. And this idea that young knowledge of which is now, as you understand, which is built from lapis corner, is already in us, in our first selves. So when like a question lely, we are practice right in practices la part and what do we do then from there? You know, where to move on from there.
Okay. Ibhuku lela ne linendlela, because the reason why i-calendar yethu lela bhuku li-interpreter i-calendar as per our seasons and as per what is prevalent, you know, in the environment. So meaning ukuthi lela bhuku leli likuncedisa njengoba silokho senza lamahubo, the hymns, nemiphahlo le, those saying senza sikhuluma lawo magama, we are creating the vibrational frequency which will then ultimately connect with the frequency of the principle of the season, which is why it's important. Meaning ukuthi umthandazo wakho umthandazo osmart, because you know awuthandazi nje. Okokuqala, you create the vibration by ukuthi wenze lama hymn nalama litany, you know, so that maso ukhuluma ke nalamadlozi, so kuleyo vibration or frequency of the principle of the season. Thokoza. Yebo. Thokoza ke.
Ngikubuza man ukuthi what is this Aquarian age and its relation to what they call Herculubus?
In relation to
Herculubus, that planet which is approaching the Earth apparently.
Oh, well, I'm not too familiar about, you know, that planet, but age meaning ukuthi ayashifta all the time. Uzothola ukuthi there's an age which is represented by the fish, which is Aquarius. Then there's an age which is represented by the ram. There's an age which is represented by another, you know, star formation. What does that mean? It means ukuthi ilanga appears behind this group of stars for a foreseeable number of years, you know, until kwenzakala leyo shift, which is another age, like the age of the ram, the age of you know, the fish, the age of the whatever, you know, based on lama astrological you know, star signs. So meaning ukuthi uthola ukuthi ilanga consistently lizovela under Aquarius for about 8,000 years. Then emese iphela leyo age sokungenenye. Okhokho bethu knew that is why uthola ukuthi the dominant symbol at a particular age uthola ukuthi is the lion or the ram, meaning ukuthi if ilanga, you know, rises behind the star Leo, it means ukuthi that is the symbol of the age, you know, until ke izidlule lapho ilokhu ishintsha kanjalo. But there's a book engathi mongayithola, actually notebook incwadi zika Zachariah Sitkin. Zachariah Sitkin talks about the 12th planet. Ukuthi okhokho bethu discovered this a long time ago. Lezinto abelungu bazama ukuzithola manje. Had they studied our ancestors, they wouldn't, you know, go through all this nonsense. But because of racism, they don't want to give credit to Africa. Like Abu Pythagoras, that theorem, you know, right angle triangle. Theorem ga Imhotep, but Imhotep is not credited. Imhotep is the first doctor in the world. He's not getting credit. Why? Because he's an African. So that's the problem we have.
No, just housekeeping, to welcome you all. But there's something that we forgot to tell you, where the, it is just directly, just behind you, you'll find it. Let's not use the other one. Okay, it's just here.
Chosen. Bonabakhulu.
Just on another matter, you spoke of unity, working together, and how powerful it could be. I think most of us will find resonance in your statement. However, as we part ways, we become individuals again. With the burning desire to be united, all of us, but we don't find a system, a way, a method in which we could come together. And then of course it means that we need to have a value system that brings us together. We've been to quite a number of events, and this is the top, it's ongoing. And it's always exciting, but as we part, we part not only physically but spiritually as well.
Yeah, sure.
How do we change it? Calendar.
Calendar, yiyo i-foundation. Because i-calendar ixoxisa. Ayithi when you Christian, you Muslim, uyini. Ayithi when you ANC, uyini. Silandela i-calendar yethu as African people. And the i-calendar yethu njengoba ngisho, it's not just an ornament. We are a pillar. Almost every month and every season there's a different energy. So you need to be aware how to connect with that energy. So if it's Nsingiza, that thing, as abantu abamnyama, sisonke, that will be the beginning. Because that will then lay the foundation for us to correct every other thing that is wrong. Ngoba mawungena ngenkolo ungena ngenyindi uzothola resistance ebantwini. So i-calendar, it's easily explainable. This is the calendar we used before colonizers came here. And that is proven by the way those months are named, in our different languages. That unites us already. So ingakho nje sonke, all efforts are to push the calendar. Ngoba according to us, sithandaza or siphahla ngo-6 ekuseni makuvela ilanga, ngo-12 when the sun is at its highest point, siyaphahla. So from 12 o'clock or from 6 ekuseni kuyofika u-12 uyacela. From 12 emini kuya 6 ntambama uyabonga or acknowledging whatever. Why? Because the sun is now losing power. You can't request at that time. You request when it's gaining power, right from sunrise until 12 in the evening. So those are things okumele sibuyele kuzo. Mesingazenza as a collective. Just like amandiya, soshulwa yini. Njengoba ngisho i-calendar i-foundation. Ngoba mawufike nge-calendar, umuntu akabi defensive. Kuthi now we are coming to question my foundation. Ngoba into yenza abantu bakwate sometimes uma ukhuluma ngale ndaba. Umuntu uyakuzwa but you are uprooting me. And so brutally. Ngoba utshela iqiniso engilaziyo, ngilizwa ngegazi. So i-calendar is very neutral. It's our calendar. And umuntu demonstrate ukuthi nina cha ngesivele niyibiza kanje because of this. Ngesuthu niyibiza kanje because of this. It all says the same thing because it reflects what we see in the environment at a particular time. So mesingabamba i-calendar ke, i-calendar si need as a glue for that unity. Then from lapho we feed ourselves. Meaning ukuthi sifaka ama-factory la emalokishini. We industrialize these townships. But ayikho i-business program that will succeed without decolonization of the mind. We need to clean the mind first, so that sicabange as a unit. Ukehla the other day was saying that unity will give us even the potential to control politics. Because when we have one vote as black people, we can change almost everything we need. See, vote nje as a collective. Hey, ukuthi kungena bani lapha elentuzeni. Simnikeza idingo zethu. Ukehla was suggesting manifesto. Ukuthi sibe ne manifesto yethu singabodakhe ukuthi nakho. Mawungafulfilla lokhu siyakuvotela. But lokho kuzoya kula siyakhona. But iskiya yile calendar.
My last one. Decolonization will take also a lot of, let me call it mass education about the calendar itself. Is there something in place? Do we have to work on that as well?
No, leyo ke wena Khehla ngoba kahle kahle njengoba ngisho ukuthi izinto ezinje normally like Israel when they formulated their state again, they put a lot of resources behind the culture. Nama China did the same thing. They put a lot of resources. Afrikaners la in our country, they raised more than 500 and something million amongst themselves to strengthen their language and culture. So culture is very important. It is the clue. So Tina, in the meantime, because government yethu, I support his inventory. Like several times, Siba conductors they refuse completely. But manje lento I discourage because izokhula kanje. La nikhona ni organize ama meetings anje siyeza sizo present. Ispreada kanjalo ingene natural nationally. And ukehla upromisile ukuthi one of these days sizohlangana as a unit celebrating our new year. So immobilization mele yenzakale kanje. We use what we have. Ngoba sinama resources. We use what we have to push the agenda forward. But njengoba ngisho sometimes Tina, we might not be the beneficiaries, that's the truth. But senzela ingane zethu sizinikeze i-foundation right ukuthi bakhule bazi ukuthi they are not slaves but they are kings and queens who should be ruling the continent. Sure.
I think maybe my last question is, why don't we just become?
Like?
That's it. Why don't we become who we want to be? Because I think it's a mental thing to actively decide, oh, we are now becoming. We should stop questioning it. We should stop making it a struggle. Because it's a mental thing. Think about it. So why don't we become?
Maybe angukazwa kahle. Mauti, maybe we should become. What do you mean?
Us. Who we want to be.
No, Angiti, for you to be able, all of us, you need a reminder. I got my reminder through Bab Credo. Just a few words in Jazisho brought enlightenment like him. What he light. That stimulated me to do more research because you can't just become ignorant. That becoming needs knowledge to replace what you've always been told by the truth. And that needs a lot of reading.
You cannot become without knowing. So you must know thyself.
Sure.
You must connect them.
Okay.
Become.
I just want to touch on what the gentleman just asked about becoming.
Sure.
To become is an easier journey if it's individual. Sometimes I could be caught up in drugs and I wake up and say, Aksai Bada. It's a mental decision I'm taking. But once the challenge is communal, involving more than two people, it becomes spiritual. So when something is spiritual, it's not my decision to make, it's ours to make. And that comes with time.
And then no more.
That's it.
No more determined. Like a shift. Izoyenza lo mbuso esiku uyafa. Naturally we can see that. But manje sesilindele lalanga where heaven and earth isivumelene ukuthi ayiwe lento manje and it boom phansi. Yabo. Thokoza Kesha.
If you let's say Aah calendar, if you on a little how or what is your advice on how to implement on following the calendar to change the mentality of what we have been used to? Because of now, if it's going to now December has started again, and now you are starting to say, you know what, I'm no longer following this system, and you are going to feel that shift go higher when you are being stand alone now. How can you start your own journey to implementing that to work within the structure of your family?
Ngokuyiphilisa wena. Let them see you do it first. Even if bona abalandeli. I'll make an example. Umfana mesiphahla automatically seke yazi ukuthi 6 o'clock isikhathi sokuphahla. Uyeza uyaphahla. Why? Because we're leading by example. So they might not agree with you, but that is why when you need to amass yourself, arm yourself with knowledge. Maubangene, ubatshele futhi ukuthi asinto. This is nothing new. Yinto eniyaziyo. It's just that nikhohliwe. Just ask them about inyanga ngesisuthu ngesilendo. What are the names of the Suthu month? Kancane kanjalo engage nabo kanjalo ukuthi cha le calendar esiyuzayo, which is true, even scientifically they can check it. It was written for the northern hemisphere. Yingakho si celebrate iChristmas, meaning ukuthi abelungu basenze si support amadlozi abo. Sila eAfrica bona bale. Kepha thina ngesikhathi the same thing, same time or similar thing eyenzakala in the southern hemisphere, we do nothing. Meaning ukuthi thina sithi abelungu abasiqilaze even more. They must do it even more. Do you understand? So kancane abantu like calendar, we decided ukuthi singafaki a lot of information now ezofaka abantu. Let us simplify it. The ultimate adjustment okumele yenzakala izoyenzakala once abantu sebe graspe the concept ukuthi le calendar esihamba ngayo wrong. We are in the southern hemisphere, ibhalelwe abantu base northern hemisphere. So that is the beginning nje enkulumo. Ukuthi thina we are in the southern hemisphere and abelungu bale. So le calendar by impose youth is based on everything that is in the for the northern hemisphere. But Kehla njengoba ngisho, do it. Even if we want. Makufika 6 o'clock uthole indlela esiphahla ngayo. Kwenze exactly the same thing ufunde lama hymns and lentuza well. Izo translate into various languages because that's the ultimate thing. But okwamanje isasesizulwini. So but ngithi if we are able ukuthi uevoke imimoya ngesilungu, you can evoke ngesizulu or ngesisuthu ngesivenda. Once nje you understand the principle and the concept. So yinto kumele yenzakale every day. You need to do it every day, every day, every day. And leyo nto leyo izokunceda nawe. A lot of people come here because la city abantu must testify. You need to experience yourself. Awukwazi ukuzwa ngomunye umuntu. Wena mele uze la uzosho ukuthi le season ingaffecte ngalendlela, whether positive or negative. So once a month siyahlangana la kube a testimony day. Uthi man, hey mina, hey, this is what happened to me kule nyanga. It's been tough or it has been nice. Abanye bafika bayabonga, abanye bayakhala because we are affected differently. So there is not one size fits all. Wena yingakho ultimately you're gonna have to judge yourself. Nobody judges you there. Pull up at the spirit of transformation. Aah Djehuti ulinde look record. But uthi bheka the scales. Look at your heart against the feather. Wena ubone ukuthi sithiphelana. Then you judge yourself. Hey. Hey. Thokoza.
What's your advice for abantu abamnyama abahlala in the northern hemisphere? they also follow the calendar as it is followed in the southern hemisphere because, well, they resonate from there, or, you know, they have to flip it for the northern.
No, many of follow them
Yeah, Lapan.
because they're African.
Yeah.
Aah Djehuti, when it comes to their New Year, all of them, whether we say Japan, Ugupi, they follow the Jewish calendar as per what happens in Israel. Nase China ganja. When it comes to their New Year, China, say England, celebrates the New Year. Why? Because China at that time celebrates the New Year. So that is how we should be. Kahle kahle calendar yethu sonke emhlabeni. That is the role umsebenzi esibhekene nawo. Ukuthi si unite all black and African people through the calendar. So that when it comes to our New Year as African people, all of us celebrate internationally. Hey. Sure.
kahle kuya la mkhuluma ukuthi masila thina celebrate kahle siempower amadlozi abo sila so nathi masima blacks ke iAfrica yonke inclusive Europe seJapan mawe calendar yethu sasonela
Eh.
noma siya ngithi into senza collective unobona khona into abanokuthi collective ego
Yes.
uma ngabe sibe parade song siba ego yethu collective parade manje sibe song ego yethu sithanda sibe chiefs somehow whole course ngale spirit noma stadium noma some that ego that
Wow.
maybe like we are more ikhali ukukhuluma athi ikhalenda yethu masingabuyela kuyo ngabe ama-Jews anekhalenda yawo which is store aba-chief tulo bezinistini ulanda ama-Muslim
Yes.
abekoremba yakwethu ukuthi to iQuran bezinistini ebheka ndaba yibo bana-spirit lesasisho mkhulu ukuthi they support each other into ba-keep together ukuthi bakhona ukusapotana each other this calendar yabo itora or iQuran ngasa sitike kule calendar le ukuthi uzazi useJapan ukuya nekhalenda yabo yiyenzo ukuthi ukhumbuze umuntu omnyama uma umuntu omnyama kumele ngithenge khona izinyo khona ukuvusa imkhulu eshoyo but masastika nje kule calendar kalenda foundation impumo yethu yonke yethu lelela
I-calendar then that acts as a glue amongst us. Ngoba manje sesiyakhona ukuthi siguqe at the same time. Thokoza go.
Bengifuna nje to add on indaba yokuthi how do you introduce indaba following our calendar, whereas you know kunabantwana and
Yes.
there's children that are actually not familiar with this based on the fact ukuthi when they go to school and they are exposed to everything else. I think with us we need to start being very patient with ourselves and being very patient with the people around us, because we have to understand that it took thousands of years for us to get to this point, and it will not take thousands of years for each and every one of us to go back to who we are, but it will take a very long time, and we need to be patient. So like we had said, we need to, as an individual in the household, persistently do what is right, and bit by bit, abantwana they learn. You know, for example, in the English, I see now the kids are now starting to say, oh, so Djehuti went up. No, so Djehuti and Nakima. Hey, Christmas thing. You know, so like there's always like they now interested to know what's next.
Yes.
You know, just yesterday we were reading Mkhulu,
Yes.
and it was so. My second born was so fascinated with the fact of you so very. What's the language you language language.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
and like it gets to a point
Yes.
of she was able to even pick up. There's a part, it's just imagine her part, but there was a part she could relate it to a Christian prayer. And she said, this line, it's there in the Christian prayer. So we should develop abantu bathatha our knowledge, and then they were actually translating it, you know. So abantwana, they are more open to learning if we show them that we are serious on the fact that we are
Yes.
So
No, Thokoza. Yes, good.
Sokela ukubuza futhi mawuza calendar yethu, as we know it, we are dealing in a system that is already been governed by the northern hemisphere, especially when it comes to times of celebration, like when you're in a corporate world,
now you want to stand with me, you know what? I need them 17 because this is my new year now. What are channels and ways of us to be able to work around that? As we know with the Indians, when there's Christmas, there's no work, tools down when I stand. Tina, how do we work around that?
No, Kesha, that's a very beautiful point. In the slow sea, you see, Abotaki should demand. Demand, which is Sasa Ngizi, it's my new year. And I expect to be paid just like Usalam Lapa, Isaac Lapa, whatever. Hey, Amachutana Mandia. They are paid.
Yes.
So, Manje Inja Lesenza is Uti Situmane Nama unions.
Okay.
You know, bakhona abantu nje esazama ukuthi basincedise ukuthi sisondele kulabantu ngoba once yabhekwa ama unions then uphelile. You know, it's the right of an African person or black person to also say ngine calendar yami, but lokho wena kehla ngithi kumele sifake in the media to create that discussion. You know, ukuthi hey man, now majuda ngimokufika angithi nathi sesivuselele eyethu, which then means nathi we deserve, you know, a paid holiday on that day. So it can start a nice discussion nje mesingayibamba ngemedia, and izosinceda to popularize the calendar because abantu bazofuna ukwazi ukuthi yini le calendar. Then it's an opportunity for us to educate ikolweni all over.
The question on 2020, it's been quite an interesting year as a whole. Is there any significance or spiritual realm about this year or anything like that?
I think this year was very important. Unyaka la there was a shift in terms of consciousness. Chokuthi amadlozi ayayifuna lento yabo, but no yabona nizwa sizonenza nimamele ngenkani, and they did. Phela thina i-growth si-experience i-growth during i-lockdown because abantu bebesekhaya and now they were listening to the message. So that shift in terms of consciousness, yingakho besilokho sithi thina we must never emerge as slaves again after this. Mele si emerge as royals, the parents of humanity. That is the shift edingakalaya, because we keep on absconding our responsibility to parent lengane ezingezo. Abelungu bezwe. Ingane nje efuna induku all the time. So you need to understand as an African person that you are a parent to this child. When you need to emerge with your own content. Yonke nchokuthi amadlozi athi islavery siyaphela. Wena uzosiqhubekisa ngoba you enjoy being a slave and you have normalized colonization. That's the only way. You can't, you know, yazi abantu bahluphekile these days. Bahlutshwa umoya. Kuthi khona lento man, khona lento. Ifuna uku-expressa but they can't understand ukuthi iyini. So that is when you need to find yourself. Ingakho koko bathe, know yourself. For you to be able to know the Creator, zazi wena qala, because everything, you know, that constitutes you, it's substance you create. So mawuzazi wena, you better know the Creator namadlozi wonke. And amadlozi wonke uwazi kanjani? By being part of amadlozi, the principles. Like manje ngesikhathi sika Djehuti. Be Djehuti yourself in everything that you do. uJehuti mnikeze full expression. Akayuze lo mzimba wakho to express iwill yakhe. Hey. So that's the critical you know thing. Ishift yenzakele and it will never go back. And you can never unlearn. Once you heard, awushintshile forever. You will never be the same unless you enjoy being a slave. I always repeat. Like the house nigger. Yes. Hey. And the lento le Makehla, remember ukuthi asiyinto lento esiyenzayo asiyinto yamanamba. Inabantu bayo. Izobamba abantu bayo kuqala okumele balide the way. Then the rest will follow. Laba bangezwa manje, they will follow once bebona ukuthi lento is successful. So manje izoyidonsela abantu bayo. Hey, ngoba umuntu wayo just one expression. Iletha enlightenment into waso like kind of. Then lo muntu is never the same. Hey. Sonke sigula kanjani. Hey. Angeke uzuzithole ukuthi wena u-understanda lezi lezi ukuthi awunasabelo sakho. Umuntu ongenasabelo kulelo ungakhuluma 1,000 words ngeke akuzwe. Instead uzobhoreka. Umuntu wayo one sentence motivator, angazi khuphulani emntwini lento. Sho ukuthi uyayizwa ehamba negazi.
Compelling.
Hey, it is compelling. Hey. So yiboka abantu ke abanesabelo ukuthi bajike lenqola. And once ejikile lenqola, it's like fire. Eh? Once ihlathi lapha libamba umlilo, it's finished. Hey, once nje ngecalendar umlungu akakhohlwa. The day umuntu omnyama sihlanga la stadium Makehla. Just the stadium. Angikhulumi ngopo FNB Orlando. It's about 70,000. Messing ngagcwalisa Orlando Stadium to celebrate the African New Year. That will be the day of liberation for umuntu omnyama. Because from that day we will never be slaves again.
No.
Hey, once nje sagcwalisa just Orlando Stadium, that's all we need to do. To demonstrate lento ukuthi sesishintshile. There's another consciousness. That's all we need to do.
And that can affect the whole Africa.
The whole Africa, yes. Just that day alone, Kehla, it can free not only Africans, you know, here, even in the diaspora, when they hear ukuthi black people in South Africa are gathering in celebration of their calendar, then that calendar is explained. You've healed the whole black nation international.
Oh, wow.
Just ngalelo langa wena Kehla.
And the roar of the lion that will collapse.
Thokoza. Manje sekunonkosana la ine responsibility yayo nayo. Nangu Kehla uzosinceda akasihlanganisele yona ibopha. But kumele sihlangane stadium. Si celebrate New Year yethu.
I think for the sake of clarity from what Mkhulu just said, I don't know if maybe Tato is the head of Soweto Tourism. A few weeks ago, we actually formalized Soweto Tourism so that Soweto can take steps to become independent in all spheres. So we're breaking away from things like Gauteng tourism. Not necessarily that we are now in competition, but we are now seeking our own independence in a lot of things. So that's just a small background. But Tato is the official head of Soweto Tourism. Why am I saying that? It's important for us to know because some of the strategies put in place for us to advance what is going on is that our key celebrations, if they are adopted by institutions such as Soweto Tourism and we make them a Soweto event, because our kids listen less, they enjoy celebrations. I remember when I started interacting with Father Christmas, it was the best day. So I had 10 years of interaction, and this is not interaction, it's indoctrination. So we need to do the same thing. Because we need to decode our kids and do the recoding and so forth. So I think some of the strategies in place are such that we need to speak on a proper round table, proper documents, not just with words, and request and propose to Soweto Tourism through Tato to say that let's make this big and have fireworks on our New Year's and through Soweto Parliament, which is something I'll explain in future, is that we so
Soweto Parliament is made up of associations in Soweto, different ones. The taxi associations, the teachers union, deaf people's, disabled people's association, and so forth and so forth. So if we have those as a platform, those associations as a partner platforms, we can use them so that the teachers can make sure that on a certain day they can allow the kids, just as a soft introduction, allow the kids to come dressed in CVs, meaning home clothes, because we are celebrating something. That is not too aggressive. Department of Education will intervene. And so we'll come up with those type of strategies to slowly get the programs running. And at some point, we'll make sure that maybe after 5 years, 5-year plan, the kids don't come to school because it's a proper celebration.
No, sure. And
no gogo nisebenza kanjani. Yeah, no, Gogo will be very upset with me because what I thought we were Okay, so talking about Gogo, so in Soweto Parliament we have spiritual, we've given the opportunity for African spiritual leadership to be part of Soweto Parliament. Because if you look at all structures, African spirituality has been neglected. So in Soweto Parliament we have given the seat to African spiritual leadership and African spiritual healers. So we have an element of healers. So I have, personally, I'll make an example. I have a tourist product in Soweto. So I started a speedboat and jet ski business at the Soweto Towers committee at the dam. So Gogo, part of us uniting is that she comes with what she knows best, being the spiritual side, and she did a small exercise and practice for us so that naturally we can agree with nature that we are now using the water for this purpose. And those are some of the things that work when we are united as people. So I think fundamentally what I didn't explain is that Soweto Parliament is an effort to unite our people. Because I, for one, believe that I don't care how many AK-47s are loaded. If people are united, we are far more powerful.
Oh no, sure.
Those people.
Sure.
So it's just an exercise where associations and people are united to come together and advance blackness more than anything. Yeah. So I think with the personal interaction and maybe have a chance to speak no Gogo or Tato or myself, we'll be able to exchange ideas, which is very important. Dialogue is beyond important. We exchange ideas, we discuss, and we implement. Because young people, the energy must never be misused. We must take it to action. Yeah, old people sit in parliament and speak because the energy allows them to just words. So while we have the opportunity to jump these fences should need be, we should jump them leading our people in that direction. Because it won't be an easy journey, that I must tell you. It won't be at all. So I think, but if we can unite and grow in numbers, we will be able to do this. In closing, I have a very close-knit family made up of friends. I don't know if you understand that, but I don't have too many people outside my space. So some, question, because they are pro-Jesus and Christianity. They say, but what if this is wrong? And my answer to them was, I'm happy to be wrong and go into a direction and walk a million years in a wrong direction in the name of Africanism. I don't want to be wrong holding role
No, mina kuyangijabulisa lokhu ngoba masibona iyouth isukume ngalendlela. Thina sizolala sijabulile ukuthi i-future of Africa is bright. Umsebenzi wethu makhehla. Remember ngo-96, Tina, we did our role very well. Kosanyoba, nge-18 nje with ey'valo zama-dustbin. So nina-ke, i-role yethu is to realign zonke lezi zinto lezi zomoya. Ningakhohlwa lokhu. Angeke niye phambili uma nisasenyameni. Nifuna ukubusa nge-ego. Teach yourself about this spiritual principles that empower people. They empowered your ancestors. So that energy is still there even today to empower you. But use it as a launch pad. Because mauhamba ngendlela kama art, which always creates harmony and balance. Yonke into eyenzayo iwumthandazo. Because manje mawufuna ukubusa wena eAfrica, you have those ambitions. Ufuna ukubusa eAfrica ngale ndlela ama politicians asibusa ngayo. You don't deserve that. You know, ababusi of the future, abantu who are going to be motivated by no more. Abazosibuyisela kulo moya wethu. Hey, so that we experience magic in our lifetime. Why? Because we understand the laws that govern the universe.
Yeah.
That's power. That's where real power is. Not as Pamini or Malini. Yes, Mali, we need it to make things happen. But the power, Niti Okokobetu, they ruled the world. They educated about Pythagoras. All these Greek and Roman philosophers, they were taught by Africans. Then they go and plagiarize. Introduce this thing about Africa as theirs. So you are great as an African person. All you need to do, go back, Sankofa, go back. Check a good okokubako baby. And the yini wena that you need to do. Ukutubadlule. You can't be at the level yabo. Which are now funugwenza a great pyramid of Giza. No, surpass them. You need to surpass them. Do more, greater than what they did. Just to make a mark now. Now, basically, sifunda now. Maso ungaseko sithi usibamba. Now, so that's very important. Makehla
Maybe building a sky city.
Eh?
Sky City.
Oh no! Oh no, it's possible. Yeah, it's possible.
Alright, so was Mkhulu siyabonga with the lesson. So that was the introduction. Ya sizia rona ya Djehuti. Kasotho ki moeli. Eish, my Sotho guys. Hey. Mkhumanisi. So okay, so kitoli jwetsa dinto that you can put come somehow or stuff that you can wear.
Yes.
Who amahanta le the season. So the Djehuti season iqala ka di 23 tsa November. Oh, thank you. The 23 tsa November up until the 22 tsa December. Right. And then okay, so kitoli bala ka sekgwa Sotho le Sizulu. I hope we all familiar with those languages. All right, so okay, page 24. So okay, so lejwe, your gemstone or your crystal that we use now, ki me or iche elinemibala or the agate stone. Lehakwe lenang le mabala. So it's a very beautiful stone. Nali the circle, so it's a color so that's your agate, but you can Google. And then color.
What's the spelling of that?
Agate.
Okay.
So the color of the season, gray and white. So that's why you see some of us naturally wore that today. So gray and white. So you can use either get the custom made candles the gray or the white. So that's what's gonna resonate with the season. Got the season. Or you can just dress in that or a head wrap, something. The vest, you like Peter, I don't know. And then twipi, insimbi or metal is the lodestone. Kasi Zuluki easy boot. Is that Zulu? Easy boot. Oh, you shot a at the end. A lodestone. Yeah, there's no Sesotho version. So it's like a magnetic stone. So it's dark or like a grayish black, like that color. And then impepo or the incense, eucalyptus. Yeah? And then amaka or the scent is the neroli. Isihlahla
letho jwalo ka Sotho sehlahla e seng ke tso spate le nna mara translation re sehlahla as the pomegranate ne pomegranate in Yemen, probably in Kemet times. The phoofolo, hologolo, izilwane, or the animal that resonates in the season A, that represents the season. So check a characteristic, yeah, this animal. Alright, so it's the baboon, inkankane, the ibis, indlulamiti, which is the giraffe. Kasisuthu, likakarane, that's the ibis. Tweni, kapatuhlu, which is the giraffe. So, galeboga guys. Hi,
That's fine.
Okay. So, raleboga bokoko le bomkhulu, raleboga royals for being patient with us, for mamela lona, and I hope you picked up a lot. And I hope going forward, ka season ena, letlo pick up and then kada har kwala Djehuti, letlo baledi testimonials to say what happened ka the season in.
Yes.
You know, and then second last point I think, on social media, for Facebook and YouTube, give a Great Empire of Kemet, Bonabakhulu. Please follow us there, check content. We post content in the week as well. This live stream yaka Jeko, if you missed something, you can go back to it later on Facebook. On Twitter, le Instagram, at GEK_movement. Yeah? Yes. And then the last thing as well, Renali petition, right? So you're asking about how we're gonna make this day an official day, you know. So Renali petition that we have started as well. We're gonna share it on all our social media pages. Please sign it, please share with your people, because Lerona, we also deserve a paid holiday, you know. The people that actually are from here, but Rona, we're busy following other people. Bona banka di day off, they can write on their hands if they want to. Rona, it's always we need to follow other people. So for us to start implementing the calendar, for it to be a legal thing that actually does happen, please sign the petition, share it with your groups, share it with everybody, you know. So Abasa understand the why behind it. Don't you want a free day to not go to school, to not go to work, you know? So galeboga makhosi kakhulu. So Gozani, we hope to see you again next week. Yeah, hope we'll have a tent next week. And yeah, oh sorry, before we vala, Mkhulu Yonela has a young performance. And then Mkhulu utorkwalla ka mphahlo.
Okay, Sanbonani. I'm gonna do 2 poems. The first one is a short one titled Unsettle the Settler. Unsettle the settler, settling on your stolen land. Unsettle the settler, settling on your stolen mind. Black sister, black brother, what's your plan to get back your stolen land? Black brother, black sister, what's your plan to get back your stolen mind? Unsettle the settler, settling on your stolen land. Unsettle the settler, settling on your stolen mind. Thank you. Okay, this one is titled When I Was by the Pond, Pondering on Word Potions to Promote African Pride. Too many Africans wish they were white inside, and this is evident in the growing bleach and weave industry in Africa. Too many Africans defeat each other to climb the imaginary ladder of success planted in them by corporate media and watered by corporate education. Too many Africans pray to a Jesus image that does not look like them. A blue-eyed, snowed-skinned, straight-haired Jesus that resembles Hitler's dream race. A race we are losing because too many Africans have forgotten why to love themselves. And when I was by the pond, pondering on word potions to promote African pride, I looked first inside myself and found a darkness so profound like a moonless night bearing bright stars. And then the light of the stars started to sing. Chosen children of God, with many hues of bronze to ebony skin, with curly woolly hair who's rich in melanin. Do away with all your fears in all the days of your years. And remember the unconditional love that comes from above and who you are within, the creators of your without, and that without knowledge of your history, you are like a tree without roots. Thank you.
We also have this book, ne? So in the week, on Mondays, so no, for now it's on Mondays and Fridays, re phahla together at 6 in the morning. So to be able to follow and also for you to read and check what season you were born in and what resonates with you, which nature resonates with you. We have this book, Ki 150, and then we have a digital calendar as well. Ki 50 randa, our digital calendar. In yeah, you'll see that's very nice. It's very HD. So for that, you'll find that the information on our Twitter page, Facebook page, Instagram page, to send the email to make your order. Okay. Yeah, so good.
Bengithi-ke Makhetha, uma siqeda ukuvala sinixoshe. You can hang around if you still want to, because we are here. Sometimes siyaqhubeka ngesigubhu kanjani. Ngicela sukumeni nje sivaleni official. Izani ngaphakathi ke. Or sibheka the direction of the northern star. Aah Djehuti,
Aah Djehuti,
Aah Djehuti,
Aah Djehuti,
Aah Djehuti,
Aah Djehuti,
Aah Mlobikazi,
Aah Mlobikazi,
Aah Mlobikazi,
Aah Mlobikazi,
Aah Mlobikazi,
Aah Mlobikazi,
Aah Djehuti,
Aah Djehuti,
Aah Djehuti,
Aah Djehuti,
Aah Djehuti,
Aah Djehuti,
Aah Mlomokazi,
Aah Mlomokazi,
Aah Mlomokazi,
Aah Mlomokazi,
Aah Mlomokazi,
Aah Mlomokazi.
Asivaleni ke ngale Mdali wempilo,
Mdali wempilo,
nobuphakade,
nobuphakade.
Nginikezwe amandla akho,
Nginikezwe amandla akho,
ngilethelwe incwadi yakho,
ngilethelwe incwadi yakho.
Thabatha isihlalo sakho,
Thabatha isihlalo sakho,
ngaphambi kwendlunkulu,
ngaphambi kwendlunkulu.
hlala esihlalweni sakho,
Hlala esihlalweni sakho,
sasentshonalanga,
sasentshonalanga.
lapho
Lapho
abahlengekile
abahlengekile
bathola khona ukwaneliseka. Ushu inkosi yomoya,
inkosi yomoya,
inikezwa amandla okukhanyisa umzimba wami ngezwi lakho, ukhanyisa indlela yami ngenkazimulo yemisebe ekuveleni kwakho. Aah Djehuti,
Aah Djehuti,
Aah Djehuti,
Aah Djehuti,
Aah Djehuti,
Aah Djehuti,
Aah Mlomokazi,
Aah Mlomokazi,
Aah Mlomokazi,
Aah Mlomokazi,
Aah Mlomokazi,
Aah Mlomokazi,
Aah Mlobikazi,
Aah Mlobikazi,
Aah Mlobikazi,
Aah Mlobikazi,
Aah Kemet,
Aah Kemet,
Aah Kemet,
Aah Kemet,
Aah Ramasedi,
Aah Ramasedi,
Aah Ramasedi,
Aah Ramasedi,
Aah Mvelingane,
Aah Mvelingane,
Aah Mvelingane,
Aah Mvelingane,
Aah Nomkhubulwane,
Aah Nomkhulwane,
Aah Nomkhubulwane,
Aah Nomkhulwane,
Aah Ngweli,
Aah Ngweli,
Aah Ngweli,
Aah Ngweli,
Aah Ngweli,
Aah Ngweli,
Aah Kemet,
Aah Kemet,
Aah Kemet,
Aah Kemet,
Aah Maat,
Aah Maat,
Aah Maat,
Aah Maat,
Aah Anpu,
Aah Anpu,
Aah Anpu,
Aah Anpu,
Aah Anpu,
Aah Anpu,
Aah Set,
Aah Set,
Aah Set,
Aah Set,
Aah Neptet,
Aah Neptet,
Aah Neptet,
Aah Neptet,
Aah Lefat,
Aah Lefat,
Aah Lefat,
Aah Lefat,
Aah Mhlaba,
Aah Mhlaba,
Aah Mhlaba,
Aah Mhlaba,
Aah Mhlaba,
Aah Mhlaba,
Aah Heru,
Aah Heru,
Aah Heru,
Aah Heru,
Aah Heru,
Aah Heru.
Siyabonga Makhetha.
Your eyes are walls, you know, practicing. No, we have it.
Yes.